must have a date or something. Is that, yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Meeting called to order. Today is Tuesday, November 21st. It's now 6:02 p.m. Town Council acting at the Sewer Commission. Stepping in today. Tony, will you lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in a meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Council President Goslin.
Here.
Council Vice President Williamson.
Here.
Councilman Messier. Councilman Licciardi.
Here.
Participating communities: Town of Coventry, Town of Situate, City of Cranston, City of Warwick, Town of West Greenwich. Quorum is declared. Council President. First item on the agenda: approval of the October 17th, 2023 Sewer Commission meeting minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Move a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is Superintendent's report.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Jeff?
So month of October, our average daily flow was 5.3 million gallons per day. I transposed the maximum and the minimum. So the minimum was actually 2.3 million gallons per day and the maximum was 9.4 million gallons per day. For CBOD removal, we achieved a 98% removal, which was 2.0 milligrams per liter. Our TSS was 98% removal as well at 2.7 milligrams per liter. And our phosphorus removal was 0.07 milligrams per liter. For sludge removal, we had 367 tons go to Synagro. We had 141 tons go to the landfill. So we removed a total of 508 tons from the facility. For backups, there was 0 in the public lines. We had 6 in the private lines: Main Street, Duke Street, Washington Street, Robinson Way, Turner Drive, and Bayview Drive. For odor complaints in the month of October, there were 11, 2 on Providence Street, 3 on Janet Drive, 3 on Fernwood, 2 in Brookfield, 1 on Duke Street, 1 on Overhill Drive, and 1 was called in by DEM. For the month of October, the facility had no violations. And that's my report.
So what's up with the order complaints? Like why? Have we found that out? We have a study?
So we are doing the study. As you know, we're in the progress of Jim working with DEM and working with us, talking about things. I still have Josh collecting the data, reviewing the data, seeing about wind direction, who's calling, when they're calling, things like that. So Josh, you want to talk a little bit about it?
So is this like 11 over like a 2 or 3 day period, or is this for the, did you give it's a monthly report?
Yes.
So
So
this throughout the month, or?
if Josh can correct me on this, but I believe 4 of them came in around within a couple hour period. So I would say that seems like a good instance to document. And I believe the other ones were sporadically throughout the month, but
We're gonna try to make that odor complaint report a little stronger, have a little more detailed on it so we can do things like that. They are collecting
Yeah.
wind direction, wind speed.
Yeah. It makes a difference if it's, if you get
Absolutely.
11 in the same week, or 11 in the same day, or
Or
11 in 30 days,
on always on a Saturday or always
Yeah.
on, yes. So those are the kinds of things that we're trying to track.
Is there something wrong at the plant? Like something,
so I know the one where there was 4 within a couple hour period, I think it was around 8:30 at night, and Josh and I came in both at that point in time saying, if we're getting a bunch of calls in a couple hour period, something has to be up. So we drove around and we didn't find anything at that point in time. I don't know if we're just after 2 hours it dissipated. I wasn't sure. So it's tough to tell. And that's why we're buying equipment to do more testing. We're going to be basically putting loggers in manhole covers around the neighborhood behind us, so we can see when sewage is going through the lines, are there odors there? We're actually going to collect the data. It's going to take probably a couple of weeks to a month to collect it, plug it in the computer and see what results we get.
okay.
Where's Duke Street?
That's Maisie Quinn Pump Station.
That's-
I was gonna
Near-
say, all
near
right, yeah, because
Ponzi.
I see it. So the others are probably related, but Duke Street closed.
And we do generator testing there weekly, and once in a while we'll get, the generator kicks on and we get a call that it smells down there, so.
All right. Any other questions for Jeff?
Just going to the landfill, any update on? We thought that was fixed, but
And they had another issue
yeah,
at our main disposal site. They were down for a couple of weeks and we're going back to them now. So it, as always, we're at their mercy.
yeah, and unfortunately, we'll remind everybody that that's at far greater
At a
expense.
cost,
Yes,
correct.
yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Industrial pretreatment report.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Jim.
For the month of October, the significant industrial users, Farmera, Amtrol, Warwick Ice Cream, Bradford Soap, Immunex, all submitted their self-monitoring report. All were within compliance with the exception of Amtrol. Their facility exceeded the limits for their BOD. A notice of violation was issued, and they were asked to retest during the month of October, this coming month. And we'll see what the results are. The annual inspection for Warwick Ice Cream took place during the month of October. The results of the facility found they were again in violation of their pH and the oil and grease. A notice of violation was issued, and we worked with the company and asked them to retest during the month of October for the parameters of oil and grease and pH. In addition, Warwick Ice Cream must file a report which causes, stating the cause of their exceedance and actions that they propose to address for future violations. With regards to the food service industries, over the month of October, 7 restaurants were inspected. All were generally in compliance, with the exception of Boomerang, whose grease recovery device was not working. They repaired it, and after a second visit, everything was back online. Just to note, On the Rocks has closed business. The Fresh Homemade Donuts was issued a notice of violation. They are a new owner and they're just required to submit a new application. And as of the end of October, they did not submit. New permits were issued for Fresco's Gill's Kitchen and the Mexican Grill in West Warwick. With regards to the laundry and dry cleaning services, a new ownership for dry cleaning, New City LLC on Main Street in West Warwick. We visited the site. The former site was more of a dry cleanings come in and they leave and they're done. The cleaning is done in another location. Right now, the new owners are cleaning at that facility. So they need to submit a new permit because they're doing dry cleaning services. As of the end of October, we have not received anything. With regards to construction is continuing at Scrub-a-Dub, Freeway Car Wash, the Kent County Water Facilities, and Quality Beef. Plans were reviewed for the former TGI Fridays. The plans were revised, and all we're looking at right now is the Shake Shack. We met with the engineer to go over some of the requirements. Also, the taco facility in Coventry submitted an application this past month. They were generally in compliance and a letter was issued. That's all I have.
Any questions for Jim? Shake Shack, is that where the old TGI Fridays?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
What else is there?
dividing that into
Animal House?
a Shake Shack and a veterans, veterinarian facility.
Interesting combination,
Yeah.
but yes, just saying.
I can't make
Yeah,
that stuff
yeah.
up. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Next is financial report.
For the record, Councilman Messier just arrived.
Financial report. Year-to-date operating and debt expenses through the end of October totaled $4,700,000 $54,832, which is 48% of the budget. Overtime for the month of October was $9,330, which is 6% of the annual budget. FY '24 year-to-date overtime is $49,167, which is 34% of the annual budget. And we have a year-to-date savings in salaries of $13,285, which is helping to offset our overtime expenses. Sludge removal costs through the end of October totaled $245,547, which is 33% of the annual budget. Our fiscal year sewer usage and industrial collections through the end of October totaled $4,169,009, which is 52% of the total billed. Fiscal year 2024 sewer assessment collections through the end of October totaled $211,370, which is 83% of the total billed. Collections on assessments remain high as folks continue to pay down their assessment balances. Private pump station bills were mailed in October with a due date of November 30th, and cash and investments through the end of October totaled $3,368,786. That's my report, Council President.
Any questions for Tony? Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome. Next up, resolutions. Resolution SC 2023-22 bid award anti-corrosion metabolic stimulant for odor control.
Move the resolution.
Second. Moving second, discussion. Jeff? Want to just give us an update on this?
Sure. So this is for our waste and thickened waste tanks that we have. We've been using this company for several years now. And after, a couple of years, and we don't have a contract or never had a contract with them. And they were supposedly a sole source. We just wanted to go out to bid to make it, just more official, saying, all right, if you're sole source, we'll still send it out there, see if any product is similar to yours that wants to bid on it. And if not, then they can win the bid, which they did, and we can still use their product. And actually, because of the bidding process, they came in about $200 cheaper per month for their contract.
Any questions for Jeff on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
I have a question. Sorry. When, maybe I'm lumping this all together,
Mhm.
but with the amount of odor complaints that we have, this is an odor control.
Mhm.
Is this developed to control the odors outside of the plant or just at the plant?
This is specifically for at the plant.
So do we know the odor is not coming from the plant?
That's the big question, because that's where we did the odor control study. And with the study, it was telling our numbers are relatively low. So there was no big fluctuations that we had. So based upon what we're doing and what the science is telling us, this product, for what it's supposed to do, is doing just that.
My only concern is we're paying a lot of money for a product, and I'm not sure that the orders aren't coming from the plant.
So
And
along,
if that's still a possibility, do we want to wait and not purchase the product and see what happens without the product happening? And revisit it after the study is done?
so
One of the important things in the study, if you recall, when I gave you a brief summary a couple of months ago. We'll have a full report once we finalize the program. But one of the key items is we did 24-hour composite samples, what we call bag samples. And we found that none of the mercaptans or other odor-causing elements were present, H2S elements. Only hydrogen sulfide was present. We found at the property line, hydrogen sulfide was 0. But in the, let's say, service area, the Brookfield plot in that area, we were getting hydrogen sulfide levels. So it tells, well, what the plant decided to do was purchase odor loggers. What in Brookfield, 2 pump stations discharge to the gravity manholes in that neighborhood. So what the plant decided to do is take a look, independent of the study, was to take a look at, okay, I'm getting odors in this area. Are they caused by the pump stations? You know how pump stations will come on and off,
Yep.
and they have that surge. Is that when we're getting the calls? So we're gonna put the odor loggers in, and what the odor loggers does, it measures the hydrogen sulfide levels, and it'll record it over a week, 2 week, 10, whatever. We're gonna download it so we can see, and then we can try to match up that point of discharge with the pump station. Because if it is the pump station, because it's coming in the neighborhood, but you're going to the plant and you're not finding anything. Well, you scratch your head and say, why? I mean, like you said, I mean, why? So we want to go to the next level. You know, and what this odor study, if we don't put the chemicals in now, that was part of the odor study and that was part of DM's recommendation to continue what we're doing. And they also asked for additional elements that we're working on. And we, treatment plant came up on their own and said, let's do the odor loggers because of this anomaly.
So this is required by DEM.
The odor loggers,
This,
no.
no, this right here, this,
They're
Well,
saying state,
In
keep,
general, what they said was, continue what you're doing, and oh, by the way, do these other things.
oh, all right.
yeah, we
Go
don't,
ahead, say.
we don't want
That's
to.
it.
So, yeah, what you
know,
don't want to
that's
do is change what we're doing now, because that
Right.
may, yes, so
All
we're
right.
gonna
That's all I had to
status
say.
quo. All right,
Any other questions for Jeff?
Thank you.
Hearing none. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next resolution is Sewer Use Appeals Abatement Resolution SC 2023-23.
Move approval.
Moving second.
Council President, this was a appeal made by a property owner to the Sewer Appeals Board. The Appeals Board approved the abatement, an abatement in the amount of $778.40, and it's before you tonight for final approval.
Any questions for Tony? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is Resolution SC 2023-24, Center of New England.
Move the resolution.
Second. Moving second.
Council President, we're going to ask the solicitor to speak on this one.
Very briefly, this was the case of Center of New England with Mr. Cambio. He had filed for a receivership back in 2013. These bills were generated 2014 through 2016, amounting in the amount, totaling the amount of $153,364.05. That was the last bill that was sent prior to this agreed upon arrangement on 6/16/22. This is the same amount of money that the check that the town received back on October 12th of 2023. There were some issues pertaining to the claim as to whether or not it was valid. The sewer department had never filed a claim. The only documentation that was found was a letter from Bernie Bishop in 2018. So there might have been an issue going forward. Not only were you going to cost you more money in legal fees, but there was no guarantee that you want to get paid at all. So back in July, between July 21st and July 27th, documents were provided to not only myself, but to the manager, superintendent, Jim Jeremia, Tony, council president, and council vice president, regarding an offer of approve a compromise settlement, which was accepted. It took us a while to get paid, but we did get paid, like I said, back on October 12th of 2023. And as far as receiverships go, there'd be little or no way to obtain interest and penalties on this anyway. So due to the fact that it was subject to whether the claim was valid, due to the fact that we weren't going to get interest and penalties anyway, it just made sense to settle this claim in 2023 for something that had commenced back in 2013. So if there's any questions, I'll attempt to answer them.
Any questions for Tim? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Public comment.
Any public comment on sewer? Come on up, state your name and address for the record.
Don Smith, 24 Douglas Street.
How you doing, Don?
Good, I'm okay. I received my bill this year, and I'm sure you heard this a lot.
I've actually spoken to you via email.
Right, I spoke with a few of you. My water bill is $220. My sewer bill is $600. I have one person that I rent to, that's it. I have one pipe going to the street to my house. I pay for the water and I understand that it's an ordinance from back in the day. I just like to know how this even happened. I'm not a company, I am one guy that rents out. You know, I'm not making anything off of it.
Just to clarify, only because I know we've talked with you, but if you want to explain.
Well, again, we explained to you, I know Jeff has also explained to you the ordinance. The ordinance came out, I want to say almost 6 to 8 years ago. So it was, and just for the record, myself and David Kenningham, who was the former I'm the only one who's still on the council since that ordinance has
Right.
been there, but former Councilman Kennahan in Ward 4 and myself voted against this ordinance. 3 other members, Councilman Padula, Councilman Giroux, and Councilman Tucker, all voted for it. So it did pass.
I have one
Um,
apartment.
listen,
I don't have
I
3, 4,
totally-
5 to go up $300 and something dollars for
Just clarify,
one.
just for those that don't understand what.
So what,
I have
what,
one pipe.
so what goes on is it's based off units. So again, think about, and trust me, we talked about this. Royal Mills went from
That's
water
not residence.
usage to unit.
That's not residence.
Clyde, no, it is, it's residents, right? But we spoke on them too. We spoke on the elderly. Councilman Kennahan was a single guy at home who uses the washing machine probably once a week, and he explained all that. And he said, based upon his water usage, his bill is going to actually go up. And now I've had many constituents reach out to me, especially elderly with 2 family, who had the same thing, go from 240 to 480 at the time, I think it was. And we talked about Royal Mills, Clyde Towers, they all went to units. So they went from water usage and they seen their bills go up by not just hundreds, but by thousands. right?
Businesses, that's not residential properties like I have.
It's-
That's,
it's
I have
everybody. It's
one pipe that comes out. That's
Sir,
it.
what I'm trying to say is Royal Mills has 1 pipe coming out.
Okay, so should I start in West Warwick, just buying houses and renting out rooms? How would you guys even know? Why are they not getting charged for it? They have family members all in their houses.
So single family gets charged for 1 unit. You got 2 units, so you get.
Right, I could rent out rooms and you guys wouldn't even know about it.
That's got really nothing to do with the sewer though. It's,
Why, yeah, but they're not gonna get charged. They're gonna be charged for residential, which I am. They can have boarders in their house.
Mhm.
And not be charged for it. It's the same thing as I'm doing.
Okay.
So how do you single out me?
Mr. Smith, we're not singling out you. The whole
I
town
just-
got it.
I just need
That's
to
what
look
I'm
into
trying
this
say.
further. I'm gonna fill out APRAs. I'm gonna put a few of them and find out who secondary. This is
I just told you
nonsense.
how it happened. I
This is-
told
yeah,
you
I'm
the
gonna-
5 council
yeah,
members that were
it's-
on here and
I understand that, but we should be talking about it now, though. Because I'm a guy that's I have one guy living there. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
is it 2 units? Is it
I
a
live on one
two-family?
side and I rent him out the other side.
So that's what you're getting is
And I
you're
have
based
one
off
pipe.
2 units.
I pay for the whole thing.
But
So
that,
I pay for what we use for the whole house and for what we didn't use. So my bill got charged twice for phosphorus and the other 3 things on there. We
Well,
didn't use double of anything.
Sir, Mr. Smith, I'm
I
on
have
your
a
side
sewer.
here.
I
I'm on
have-
your side. I agree with you 8 years ago and I agree with you now. I still agree you should be off water usage.
I have a meter. So what the meter shows, it should be what I'm paying.
Have you appealed? Have you
Yeah,
gone
I
through
went to the
the?
appeal board and they
you
brought
did-
up the Royal Mills, which is a company. It's not
Okay.
residential.
No, I'm just
I
saying.
mean, if somebody needs
it
to look
went-
through this and find out what's going on, because this is wrong.
So, Mr. Smith, like I said, it went to based on units.
Right, so.
So
we
you
can-
have
We
2
can talk
units.
about this.
3
And we
units
can have a
went up.
recount or whatever.
Well,
We can have the town come in here and vote on it if we have to, correct?
no, that's.
So I can fill out a bunch of ARPAs and just find out what exactly happened, who signed off on it and when and all of that and bring it back, right?
The council passed it.
It's gonna
I
happen.
signed, I'm gonna tell you, I had to sign the paperwork that
So
year,
could we look
but
back at it now that the other people are gone?
That would be the department to bring it back before us, because that would definitely, one of the things, and I've been arguing this even when we talk about increases and increase over the years. We did this years ago when we went to units and we doubled our income per se. Because anybody who had 1 unit went to 3 unit to 4 unit, we're paying 4 times the price now. So I don't disagree with you.
I have one. Yeah, right.
I,
Does that
I'm
make
right
any,
there
does that
with
make
you.
any sense to you? Does it make any sense? My water bill is
I argue-
200,
I argued
but
it
yet you're
8
charging me
years ago, and
600. I
Councilman
understand what you're
Kennahan did
saying,
too.
But if
but you
this,
guys are the only ones that can do anything.
but if this happened 8 years ago, right where the vote
Right.
was, is before 4 of us were on the council. In that 8-year time period, has your bill been normal?
It was
Like,
500 last year, but now it's just
So-
jacked up to
so- so
600 and I don't even know.
So,
My
so,
water bill is way down.
so in 8 years, right?
I've only owned it since 2019.
All right, so since 2019 or
Right. This is
2023.
the highest.
Okay, so what is your bill then?
500, something like that.
So now it's
So it
6?
went up 100 and something.
Okay,
It's just, now it's just going up and higher and higher. And I'm looking at the back of the bill and I'm looking at the website of the West Warwick Sewage Company and
okay, so there was,
I'll tell you, I don't know.
there
You
was an
gotta- you gotta
increase.
start- This is what I mean. Update the website because I didn't know,
well, there was an increase.
and we should update
this
this ordinance.
year,
'cause this is
correct?
Garbage.
There was an increase this year at budget time, correct? So that may be the reason why your bill went up.
That's fine, but I'm paying double now for something I didn't use. A public utility is the sewage company, which is a public utility, correct?
No,
How is it
We
not a
don't
public
report to the
utility?
PUC, if I'm correct. We do
No,
not.
I already talked to them. They didn't have anything to do with it because West Warwick Town is
Yeah, 'cause you went to your
involved with
state,
it.
you've been.
I
fighting
went-
this-
I had
you
talked to the
went your
Attorney
state
General
reps, I
yesterday.
know, I got
went
emails.
everywhere.
I know.
Now you guys are the last stop. Now this is, I mean, this is crap, right? Is this right? For me to pay 600 for a $200 bill?
I'd like to make a suggestion.
I think it should go back to water usage, but that's just my opinion.
This is what it says on the website. This is why I'm frustrated. I'm not getting any answers. I went to the appeal board, they brought up Royal Mills. I'm not Royal Mills. I don't have 15 million pipes coming out of my house. I have one pipe. And I'm being charged double of what my meter says I used. Electric company cannot go in my house and say, hey, you have another unit in there. Now you gotta pay double for what you actually used. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I have one meter, one pipe. I don't have more than one apartment. What should happen now is we should be talking about, okay, there should be a limit on when you can charge the double. Because it makes no sense on someone like me. I charge somebody $1,000 for a 3-bedroom. The guy's never home. I'm paying for this. Do you understand what I'm saying? How I'm frustrated?
Not arguing with you.
But nothing's
I agree with you,
nothing's gonna
Russ.
get done. No one's gonna sit down and talk
So
about
there's
this.
a whole budget process because that will affect the budget drastically.
So why don't you just make it so, all right, the minimum of being charged is the one apartments? I have one apartment. I don't have 4 or 5.
You have two. You have,
I live in one.
so you live in one.
Okay,
And there's
all
another.
right.
Okay, so you have 2 units, you're being charged minimum usage on each unit.
I'm
And that
being
minimum-
charged double. Not minimum, don't go
minimum-
minimum.
there's
No,
a
I'm paying
minimum-
double the
There's a
amount.
minimal charge, so you're being charged times 2 because you have 2
Times
units.
2, but phosphorus, however you want to say it, and debt service. I'm paying $100 for that instead of paying 50. Collection debt service, I'm paying 60 instead of 30. Again, does that make any sense?
So that one bill is for both sides, right? You're,
But I'm only using one at a time.
hey,
This is
I'm,
what-
I'm just trying to figure it out here.
I know
Right.
I know
So
what you're trying to
so
say,
you
but
have two,
because I have 2 apartments, I have to double everything. But they're only using one-time phosphorus, but I'm being charged double. No one's using twice the amount of phosphorus. Am I correct? There's one pipe. How are you doubling me phosphorus? I'm only using one thing of phosphorus.
Again, Mr. President, my suggestion would be either put this on an agenda item to address it appropriately, because if other people in town have the same question that this gentleman does, that way it's public, people, it's going to be transparent, and the schools, the sewer commission representatives can answer his questions. But right now, he's, and again, no offense, he's trying to put words into your mouth so he can ultimately use them against you if he decides to go further than the sewer use abatement tax board. So I would suggest that either put it on the agenda where you can speak freely, and you can answer freely, instead of trying to guess or describe what happened 8 years ago or what happened with Amgen.
So I'm not putting anything in anybody's mouth. I have my bill. You can look at it. This is what I'm stating.
Sure, I understand what you're trying to say, but I'm just saying that you're a public comment right now, and nobody else knows what's going on because it's not appropriately on the agenda. So for general information purposes, what I think the council has tried to answer your questions, I'm trying to just have them put it on the agenda appropriately so it can be discussed freely. If other people are like you out there
Right,
in West
okay.
Warwick, they can attend the meeting and discuss their issues also.
That's fine.
That's all I'm trying to say.
That's fine. Fair. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just aggravated. I'm angry, and you're my last stop. I went to everybody else in Rhode Island, the Attorney General's office. I went everywhere.
So, Mr. Smith, we're not meeting in December for sewer, so we can put it on the January the second meeting in
January?
January.
All right,
And we can discuss it. But with that being said, I would expect Jeff and Tony to go through and see if we went the other way, back to water usage, which, trust me, a lot of elderly and a lot of people who don't use a lot of water would like it that way. But we have to look at the financial impact also.
no, I understand that.
And I think, you know, and trust me, we argued this, you can go back and listen, we argued this eight years ago, however many years ago it was. And I didn't like it then, and trust me, I still don't like it now.
Well, frustrating. I don't have an outside water spigot. I don't have a washer and dryer. We're simple, very basic. But when I seen this coming, I'm just like, I'm like, how can this be?
I'm right up the road with you, I have a two-family.
I'm not taking out on you guys.
No,
Honestly, I'm not.
I'm right up the road from you, I have a two-family, it's
Right.
on cesspool. And I won't tie in because I pump every 2 years for 250, 300 versus $600 a year. I don't disagree with you.
It's the only way,
and the
it's the only
personal-
way I know how to get it out there is to, I'm not trying to confuse you, not trying to put anything in your mouth.
I've had numerous conversations over, I think you've been going on this for over a year
Should there
now.
be a cutoff? Should there be a cutoff on how many units there are or whatever? That they got Gulf Ave, they got all these other places doing it. You know, but it's taking it out of how many people are actually doing that, you know? 1 unit, 2 units, or whatever. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment on sewer? Hearing none,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Take a 2-3 minute recess.